Hello and welcome to your first look at a master run sheet or an overview of what you'll be doing when you get to Rio. Now, this is a shorter version of everything we know of, but to give you a kind of 3-page overview when you first arrive, this is what we've come up with. You'll have to excuse me, it's gone from A4 letter down to some unusual size. It will probably print better, but in any case, let's have a look at it. So this is going out to my team and everyone that we worked with at the test events. Heather, obviously you're not doing rugby, but Vigilio is, so I'm including you as an overview for yourself until we get to Modern Pentathlon. Otherwise, Vigilio is going all the way through with us. So let's just start at the top. I'm led to believe that everybody arrives on or before Monday the 1st, and then Tuesday the 2nd of August we'll be doing a workshop. That's not just with me, that's with everybody at Sports Presentation. Everybody being in the same room, I'm led to believe, and we'll be going through all the different functional areas and some training, and I expect that will be a full day kind of scenario. People may also get the chance to get their accreditation and their uniforms that day or the day before on Monday. We're not quite sure yet, but we know we've got to allocate you that time. We then go through the rehearsal process. Now we need to rehearse ourselves. We also need to rehearse with victory ceremonies, and then we rehearse with OBS, or the broadcaster. So in sequence, that will be, we'll rehearse from early in the morning. We're going to get there at 8 so we can start rehearsal at 9, and that will generally be the first time we get back into the stadium, all of us, to kind of have a crack at it. So we've only got 3 hours there, but that's really not enough time, so we'll have to really get cracking on that rehearsal, because after lunch we'll be going into the victory ceremonies rehearsal. So that will be the first of many long days, and depending on how the venue goes, will determine about whether all of our production and technical elements will be in place or not. That's largely out of our hands. For Thursday, which is -1 day until the Olympics, not competition, I'm going to change that. It's -1 day until the Olympics. We're doing our rehearsal with OBS. Now, the the Olympic Broadcast Service wants to rehearse everything, including athletes coming to the stadium, bus transport, athletes getting off the bus, all that kind of stuff, so they know what they can capture in their run-ins. So even though competition starts around 3:30 on that day, their run-in for outside broadcast starts 7 minutes beforehand, so therefore the rehearsal starts at 3:23, which is an unusual time, but that's what that is. Rehearsal is a complete rehearsal with athletes in a mock-up version of what the competition will be. So we won't be using athletes from the games, we'll be using local athletes to approximate what we need to do. So that rehearsal will go for around an hour, but us as a team, we need to be there from the venue briefing at 8 o'clock in the morning all the way through to the debrief, which commences at about 5 o'clock. So I'll just get on to transport next, which is in the pink, and here it's just an indication. There are other items down on other days that we've taken out while we formulate what the transport is. But really we've got a long trip to get to the venue, and those of you that have been out for the test events already know this. So depending on where all of our hotels are, we might all need to travel to a central location and then we have transport provided, or we may in fact have to get public transport out to DEODORO. Now this is a fight that's going on above my level, above Eddie's level, above Christie's level. In an ideal world we'll have a minivan that would take us all, but we'll only have one. So unfortunately, if Eddie, myself, or Marcella needs to be at the team briefing at 8 o'clock, then we all need to be there, because there's no second drive for our van if we actually get it. And we've worked out meal plans around this for breakfast, lunch and dinner, but for us that's a better option at the moment than getting public transport and the dangers of missing public transport, things like that. So we're fighting for transport ourselves rather than going on public transport, and we'll see how that goes. Anyway, moving on. So it's one day until competition on the OBS rehearsal for rugby, and the opening ceremony day we're down to work, but it's called Olympic Day 0 because the Olympics starts on that day, but the competition doesn't start until day 1. So that's a bit of a specific thing for the Olympics, in that there's a minus time until the Olympics start. But the competition starts on day 1, which is the Saturday. So on this day again, look, we need to be at the venue at 6:30. So 8:15. So we may need to leave wherever we are at 6:30 that morning. There are other days that are quite early down the track. Let me just scroll through. I'll show you that maybe when we get to it, but that's unfortunately what we need to do. So venue briefing, competition starts at 11 o'clock. We begin at 9 o'clock in the stadium. We have our first session that day, followed by the session 2 for women's. Day 2 is the same, morning session and afternoon session, and then for women's rugby, 2 later sessions on day 3 and the victory ceremony. So Sports Press begins with gates opening at 10:30 for a 12:30 start, and then the 5:30 start for the late games, including the gold medal match, followed by victory ceremony, which the venue has spelt incorrectly. Thanks for that. Then we lather, rinse, repeat for men's rugby. So the same thing. Day 1, times as per women's. Day 2, times as per women's. So 8:15 for competition to start at 11, with the second session starting at 4. And then men's rugby for day 3, the gold medal matches and the victory ceremony. So Heather, wake up. We're back to you now. So I think you might arrive on the Friday, August 12. We'll go into a workshop. Then we've got a spare day on a Sunday to catch up with any scripting, any issues with modern pentathlon, because we won't have had the chance really to speak to them during the competition day, so that's a spare day for catching up with modern pentathlon. Then we'll do our rehearsals, and these times are to be confirmed at this point, in that we'll rehearse in Youth Arena, the stadium and the Aquatic Centre. And then, because of a number of various factors, the 2 rehearsals for OBS are on the Tuesday and the Wednesday, in that we'll rehearse swimming. That's fairly easy, but we can't really get into Youth Arena until the Wednesday because there's still basketball happening in the changeover. So we'll rehearse the FBR and riding in the afternoon, and then the combined in the evening, bearing in mind we need the same lighting conditions for broadcast. Then Wednesday, it's a later day, and it will start our rehearsal at night because they would have just changed over the venue from basketball that day and completed it that morning for the OBS rehearsal of fencing ranking round Wednesday evening. So modern pentathlon, day 1 of that competition is day 13 of the Olympic Games. Very early start for the briefing because our gates open at 8 for a 10 o'clock session, and then the 2:30 session for the men's. Friday, it's the women's final and victory ceremonies. So we start off in the aquatic centre and go all the way through until their victory ceremony that night at 6:30, followed by the meeting. We'll be out by about 9 o'clock hopefully, and then again on Saturday for men's. You'll get much more information, but as an entry point to what we're doing, this will be a good explanation for you for your time while you're here on Rio. Thanks so much.